Hello and welcome back to another video. What does it mean when people say you have an inferiority complex? Pop culture and 90s movies may have given you an idea. A good example is Chandler Bing, as humor often stemmed from his insecurities. However, other popular 90s characters, such as Edward Norton's character at the beginning of Fight Club, embody a false sense of inferiority complex that leads to an unraveling and divergence into different mental conditions. So, what actually is an inferiority complex? As defined by the American Psychological Association, an inferiority complex is a feeling of insecurity or inadequacy. It stems from an actual or imagined deficiency, whether physical or psychological. These feelings may result in behavioral expressions such as social withdrawal or immobilizing timidity. It can even manifest itself as overcompensation or excessive competition and aggression. Sometimes in the pursuit of trying to prove yourself and competing with others, an inferiority complex can lead you to develop a superiority complex. Both terms, inferiority and superiority complex, were coined in 1870 by Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler as part of his book in the field of what is known as individual psychology. Adler's ideas can be summarized as no human exists independently from society, and false individualism is at the heart of the chaos that exists in today's society. So what does this have to do with an inferiority complex? We know that an inferiority complex is characterized by feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. Alfred Adler believed that most humans feel inferior at one point in their lives, whether at a young age or even during adulthood. We've all experienced it. Inferiority usually comes from comparisons between ourselves and others. For example, the peer is more athletic or fit, thus causing you to feel insecure about your athletic ability. These feelings are normal. Usually, they are the impetus that moves us to grow and better ourselves. However, it becomes an inferiority complex when you begin to constantly feel inferior. Although we've all felt inferior, usually we're able to overcome our insecurities by meeting our standards of competency. But when you start to internalize your insecurities, then you start to feel inferior. Adler posited that an insecurity becomes an inferiority complex when the individual is unable to overcome their flaws. When we have insecurities, we tend to compare ourselves with others. But comparison is not a tool to measure your worth as a person. It simply tells you where you can improve. What causes an inferiority complex? There are many things that can cause an inferiority complex. This kind of complex can easily arise during childhood and adolescence when you're going through a lot of physical and emotional changes. Unfortunately, bullying can stoke the fires of an inferiority complex, exacerbating the problem. Additionally, growing up with too much parental surveillance can cause an inferiority complex. According to psychiatrist Daniel Block at Very Well Mind, too much parental surveillance can make the child feel incapable or weak in caring for themselves. Additionally, a child being raised in an abusive environment may cause them to question their worth, which can also make them prone to developing an inferiority complex. Another cause of an inferiority complex is a physical change. It's normal to be careful about your appearance and desire to look good. However, there are moments when a physical trait can cause concern and even create feelings of self-consciousness. Feelings of self-consciousness around a physical trait can sometimes also cause an inferiority complex. An overlooked trigger for an inferiority complex is economics. Struggling to be the only person in a friend group that lives with economic difficulties can inflict a lot of damage to a person's self-worth. The reason financial hardships are particularly damaging to our self-worth is because it creates an insecurity in your relationships, which then makes you feel more insecure. Unfortunately, a persisting inferiority complex can develop into depression, sleep disorders, and even suicidal ideation, so it's important to treat this condition quickly before it further affects your mental health. It can be hard to approach someone and talk about your insecurities. It's understandable. I don't like talking about my insecurities either. But if you feel like your insecurities are overwhelming you and affecting your everyday life, you might consider reaching out to a therapist for help. In therapy, you'll learn techniques to cope with the negative thoughts in your head. A great technique is journaling your feelings and triggers. Jotting down your feelings and triggers can help you explore the beliefs and thought patterns attached to your feelings of insecurity. It gives you an accurate perspective. If you couple this with positive affirmations, it can help you reframe how you think about yourself. Although it's not an exact approach, this is similar to what Alfred Adler proposed as treatment for an inferiority complex. It's normal to struggle with insecurities, but don't let them define who you are. Let us know in the comments down below if this video helped you, and subscribe to our channel for more psychology content like this. Thanks for watching.